Subscribe to Get Curried and click on the bell icon for more updates.
Hi, I'm Tarika, welcoming you to Get Curried, where today I'm going to show you how to make a really quick and easy chicken congee in the pressure cooker. The first thing I'm going to start with is making a garlic and chili oil, for which I've got 1/4 cup of regular oil here, which I'm just heating up slightly in this saucepan. I'm going to add 5 cloves of garlic that I've minced up really finely, and I'm also going to add about 2 teaspoons of chilli flakes. And just like that, the oil is nice and hot, and I'm just going to pour it over the garlic and chili. It smells so wonderful. And I'm just going to set that aside while we move on to making the chicken congee. I'm also going to add some mushrooms for extra flavor in this congee. So I'm using 2 kinds of mushrooms here. These are dried shiitake mushrooms that I've just soaked up in some filtered water. So I'm just squeezing the water out of this. But I'm also going to use regular button mushrooms, and if you can't find these dried shiitake mushrooms, just feel free to use all button mushrooms here. So here, I've squeezed out the water. I'm just going to slice these up. I'm going to start just putting everything in the pan of the pressure cooker. I've got 1/2 cup of Basmati rice that I had soaked up in water for about half an hour. Now to this, I'm going to add the sliced up shiitake mushrooms, some button mushrooms. Since congee is a very soothing sort of dish, I'm also going to add about 1.5 pieces of ginger that I've just chopped up finely. I'll also snip in some spring onions, but just the green part. Now it's time for the chicken. I'm using 1 piece of chicken, which is about 300 grams, but it's also the breast and leg piece together. I've seasoned it with a little bit of salt and pepper, nothing more than that. And now I'm just going to place it in the pan. Now for this proportion of rice and chicken, I'm going to use 3.5 cups of water. I've got 2 cups of water here. And I'm going to add 1.5 cups of the mushroom water. Pour that in too. This is just going to add a lot more flavor to the chicken and mushroom congee. I'm just going to make sure that the chicken is submerged in the liquid completely. And just sprinkle in a little bit of salt and pepper, not too much at this stage because we can always add more later. And just to be slightly different, I'm adding some white pepper. You can use regular pepper as well. I'll just stir this in slightly. And this is so simple that all we have to do is now cook this. But I'm just going to let this come to a slight simmer before I shut the lid. Now this has come to a slight simmer. I'm just going to shut the lid and let this cook for 5 whistles on a high flame. Or if you're using an induction like I am, then 1000 watts. The congee has cooked for 5 whistles and I've let the pressure release absolutely naturally. So now I'm just going to open this up. Whoa, look at that. Now the first and most important thing to do is to pull out the chicken. So just pull out the chicken because we're going to shred it up. But before that, we need to let it rest. Now, if you look at the rice hasn't broken, but what we'll do now is just stir this around in the pan. What that will help it do is just break up the rice and it will give it a much thicker texture. So the rice is broken and this has reached a porridge-like consistency, which is exactly what we're looking for. I've allowed the chicken to rest for a good amount of time, and now with clean hands, I'm just going to shred it up. And some of this I'm going to toss back into the congee and some I'll save for the garnish. The chicken is nicely shredded up, so I'm just going to toss most of it back into the pressure cooker and just stir it in with the congee and just stir that in. The final step, and this is completely optional but it makes a lot of difference flavor wise, is to add just about 1/4 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. This is not regular sesame oil, toasted sesame oil, which is very different and has a very strong flavor. So you should add very little of it and just make sure that it's stirred in really well into the congee. Let's plate this up and add a whole bunch of yummy garnishes. You can choose which ones you want to add. I love all of them. The first of the garnish is some spring onion, the green part, again just snipped up. Next is my favorite, some fried onions. Remember the garlic chili oil that we had made? I'm going to add that too. And the final garnish is some of the chicken that we had saved up. This chicken congee is so comforting. It's perfect for dinner or really healing and soothing for breakfast as well. And like you saw, really quick and easy in the pressure cooker. So try this recipe and subscribe to get curried for loads more.